Came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name. You break it.
All right, welcome to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with George Grundy Jr. Say good morning.
That's George F. Grundy the second.
The second.
Grand rising to you.
Grand rising. Love it. All right, before we get to him, this is your first time, struggling with, someone struggling with drug rehabilitation or alcohol, please go to UCANMichigan.com. That's UCANMichigan.com. Click on struggling, and we have someone that you can put in your information and get back to you within 24 hours. If you know one's struggling with that, if you know someone's just struggling in general because life and food and clothes and baby formula and outreach and healthcare, please go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on struggling, and we have over 20 different nonprofits that we have as partners to help others. So help us, help others, help you. All right, how are we doing this morning, George?
You are super amazing with this, Isaac.
Whoa, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I would hope so after the times that we have done it.
All right. I'm doing well. Doing well. I appreciate you inviting me.
Buddy, it's great to see you. I hope those outtakes come. We might have to put those up for you, or we might not.
Hey, what happens in
studio stays in studio. All right, so George, you created a nonprofit called Veterans of Now, correct?
Yes, I was guided to found Veterans of Now.
Guided to find Veterans of Now, and you. Oh gosh, this story. I want to start with Veterans Now a little bit, and then I want to kick back to you. All right, is that cool? So when did you put this together?
It was established in 2015. 2015,
and you have a cruise coming up like this weekend.
November 4th, we have the third annual motorcade.
Okay, just tell everybody real quick what that is.
So by the guidance of Miss Dolores Johnson, we started a Veterans motorcade. The first one we did on Veterans Day, but there's so much stuff going on Veterans Day, so we chose to do it the week before.
Yeah.
And so what it is that we're honoring veterans in the sense of like a parade and calling roll of those that are still here and not just making it a memorial, but making a living actual ceremony for those that can hear it.
Like the Veterans of Now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
See?
All right, and you'll be going from Flint to Frankenmuth, right?
Yep, start at City Hall at 9 o'clock, and then 10 we'll be headed to Burston Fieldhouse where we'll have the ceremony. This year we're going to have Sheriff Swanson and Commander Bradley from the State Police Department and the captain from Flint Police Department, Captain T. Green, and others will be speaking. And so we have people that have said they're going to be coming from different states to show up this time. So it should be a good turnout.
Should be a good turnout. I'm going to be there. I look forward to being a part of that, being a help to you in whichever way we can. All right.
Appreciate
if people want information on that to sign up or whatever they got to do, they just go to Veterans of Now?
Yes, they can go to Veterans Now or George F. Grundy II on Facebook, and they're posted all up, and the numbers are there for myself and Miss Rachel Harris.
Okay, cool. So people want to check that out. I want to get that out first because it's going to be fun, and we're going to be escorted all the way down, right? And then the end, you
running
finish
all
where?
the red lights it's going to be at the Frankenmuth Heroes Museum.
Frankenmuth Heroes Museum. So from City Hall in Flint to Frankenmuth Heroes Museum.
Yes, sir.
And we, like you said, we get to run all the red lights, and it's legal.
Yes, sir.
How many times you get to say that out loud, right?
Right. And it's not for a funeral. It's for something celebrating life.
Celebrating life. Oh, all right. And I love that for people that made the decision, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's where we're going to end, and that's where the story ends. But to get to the end, we got to start at the beginning. So you said you were born in 77, right?
I was.
And you're a Flint kid.
Born and raised in Flint, Hurley Hospital.
Where at in Flint did you grow up?
The north side, Pearson and Saginaw Street.
Ooh. Yeah. Stewart and DuPont. So
There you go, north end.
Yeah. So what was that like?
It was, amazing. It was amazing times because it was never a boring or dull moment. My parents, they owned a collision shop for over 30 years. So that was on Baltimore and Saginaw Street across from Mount Calvary's Baptist Church. It was Grundy's Collision.
Okay.
And so I was there 98% of my life growing up. So it was always something.
So you're a renter? I mean, can you work on the vehicles or what?
I can. I don't like it though.
Yeah.
But I can. I'm no stranger. My dad didn't allow that to pass over me, and I appreciate him for it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So your dad owned the shop. What'd your mom do? Did she help with the shop?
They were joint at the hip from the beginning and still now. So they owned and operated it together, and they've been together. I'm 46, so they've been together 47 years.
Well, how did they get it started?
Well, my dad, he worked at General Motors. He's at Chevy in the Hole for a while.
Okay.
And it'd be cool. He was in Chevy in the Hole for a while, so he had made a decision that he wanted to start his own business. He wanted to be in control of his own destiny. And so he learned the trade while he was still working in General Motors. And once he felt like he was ready, he took a buyout and he went all head in.
And he jumped head in.
Yeah.
What year was that? Do you remember?
What year? That would be more of a his question, or my mother.
All right.
So
he's had the business longer than you've been alive?
They've shut down probably back in 2012 or 13.
All right.
But they had been open since the 80s.
Okay.
Since the 80s.
That's very cool. All right. So you grew up there. Where'd you go? What was school like for you?
Okay, so school, Pearson, Summerfield, Holmes, Northwestern, and graduated from Southwestern Academy.
All right. And were you like a sports guy? Were you quiet?
No, I was out of pocket everywhere. I didn't fit into nothing.
You had no clique?
No, school, I was mostly a loner. I didn't have.
What was your grades like?
They needed help.
They needed help?
They needed miracles.
They needed assistance?
They needed all kinds of assistance. So
brothers and sisters?
Older brother, younger sister.
So you're a middle child?
I am.
You're a problem solver. Yeah.
I try. So, yeah. School was one of those things where on paper I wasn't good, but I passed all my tests 90 percentile. So it was all in my head, but I couldn't put it on paper.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And were your brother and sister good at school?
They're nerds.
So yeah,
I'm the dumb one.
You're dumb. They're smart.
Yeah, they're geniuses. Yeah,
that's very cool. Well, knowing you, I know that you're not unintelligent. So we'll go ahead and let you slide on that for this minute. But all right, so you go through school. Anything major happen in school that helped create your mind the way it is? Like as far as like your stick-to-itiveness, getting stuff done, how open versus not open socially you are, that kind of stuff.
I would say most of it came from my parents' guidance, growing up in that family business.
Okay.
That work ethic that my dad placed on me, because we were dealing with vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's the person's second largest investment in their life most of the time.
Right.
And it has to be right. They're gonna go over that more than they go over something in their house.
Right.
Because when they look at the work and the craftsmanship, they want it to look perfect, like when they first bought it. So I missed a lot of birthdays and a lot of holidays working on vehicles.
Right.
And but it made me the better, because it gave me the ability to focus on things and sacrifice what most people wouldn't in order to accomplish a goal.
All right. Well, that is a good lesson to learn, especially in high school. So, did you stay out of the drug scene as a kid?
Never did anything into drugs in Flint, Michigan at all. I didn't start using cannabis until COVID. So, nope,
I got you.
Never touched it.
All right. So you're basically straight-laced, keeping your head down, working hard.
I'm from Flint. I'm put it like that. I'm from Flint. I didn't get into the things, the trendy things like the streets and stuff like that. I never claimed to be a thug or a gangster or nothing like that. But I made sure I made it home.
Right. All right. So you graduate what year?
95.
1995. You graduate, and then you do what?
When I graduate, what did I do? I worked with my dad more, and you know the AutoZone over there on Dorr Highway, the first one they opened up, right across from the Racers bar. I opened that one up when I was one of the first workers there.
No kidding.
Yeah. Met one of my oldest friends, Gabriel Portillo. Him and his family, they own the Muffler Man over on Fenton Road. So that's my brother.
Okay, so were you still staying at home during this time?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, so you're staying at home, working with your dad. Yeah. I mean, that time period, kids and dads don't always get along, those high teenage years, because, teenagers know everything.
Oh, yeah, I received my adult scars from my dad. My father was not one to mince words. And when I got to the point where I was smelling myself a little too much, after 18, I got a scar on my face from it. Yeah. But
so did you move out then, or?
No.
You figured it out?
No, I moved out in 2000. My sister had moved to Alabama, going to Alabama State University.
Okay.
And when she was down there, my mother made suggestions that I should go explore some things, because that was at the point where I was edging into I might get into the streets. So I think my mother kind of saw that.
Okay.
Felt it and suggested that I needed to go. And me and my dad, we were pretty tight, and that kind of changed our relationship, because I don't think he saw that coming, me moving.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
he liked having you right there and doing the work at the shop and all that.
I'm his son, and I was there. He could depend on me. But I was getting a little antsy and had family members going to college, and I'm feeling like I'm falling behind and everything. Like I think my mother suggested something well, even though at the time it was probably just I never wanted to leave Flint, put it like that. I never planned to leave Flint.
But you did.
But I did.
So what? How did you get down there? What happened?
So I went down, lived with my sister for a minute, because she had her situation with school going on.
And this was 99?
That was
2000.
99, 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got out in Alabama. Other than it being blistering hot compared to us, like what was like a culture shock there?
So I moved down there the year, I believe it was the year that the bus system started back, because it was in Montgomery, Alabama, and it was the bus boycott that happened years before that during the civil rights era.
Yeah.
And I'm down there, and I see the bus coming, and it looks like a ghost bus. I'm like, I'm not getting
a ghost bus.
Yeah, it was so old. It was like from the 60s.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like you're out of Mayberry.
Yeah, like
okay.
Like you get on there and you're gonna see ghosts all over the place. I'm never riding a bus over here.
Yeah.
So just goes to show what the power of unity and standing up for something can do. Shut down that system for so long that when I went down there, it was like they still had the same buses.
All right, before we get back into it, we already got to go to our first break.
Okay.
All right, if this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us get the word out about people like George. Thank you for stopping in. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with George from Veterans of Now, and we're just getting into The ghost bus. I like that. Yeah. So I'm imagining like a 60s.
The big round bubble buses.
Yeah. Round on the back end, you know, cruise line,
the
whatever.
Montgomery ghost bus.
Man, so, all right, so you get down there, and what did you do for work when you got down there? Like, did you go to college?
No, I didn't go. I snuck into a lot of classes up there at the university, you know, to see what school was like. So I got somewhat of a college experience, not the full college experience, but I got a little free education.
Okay.
And I worked at UPS, I believe. I think it was UPS. And I split my leg in half working there.
Split your leg in half?
I slipped in between the truck and the dock and didn't know. I was working for like another 5-10 minutes and was like, what's wrong with my leg? And then I checked it. It was blood all over the place.
Wow.
And, still got the mark. But got past that through all that stuff. Me and my sister, as siblings do, couldn't get along. And
so how long did you make it before you guys couldn't do it?
Probably about 6 months.
6 months?
Almost a year, probably. Mm-hmm. And so, and we have a great relationship today. But at that particular time, you know, she's younger than me. She's doing her stuff, her growing. And me, I'm trying to figure out why did I leave Flint.
Right.
And wondering what the world had available because I didn't see anything but Flint in my existence.
Right.
And so from there, I moved to Georgia. Moved to Atlanta, Georgia with one of my cousins, Ronald Allen.
How long after you and your sister got along did you move?
After we were bucking at it was probably maybe a month or so.
Oh, so real fast.
Yeah, once we...
All right. Did you still work for UPS and transfer? Or?
No.
Oh, you set them out.
Yeah, it's done with that.
Okay.
And I moved to Atlanta with my cousin Ron.
Atlanta.
Yeah. He went to Michigan Tech. He was All-American football player. And
now, hold on. What year did this happen?
That was 2000.
So 2001, you go to Atlanta.
2000, I moved to Atlanta. So it was in between 99 and 2000.
All right, so you leave Flint, you go to Alabama. That'll last 6-7 months.
Close to a year, yeah.
And you said, all right, now I'm going to try Atlanta because you had another family member there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was couch surfing.
All right, now you said he's an All-American football player for who?
He went to Michigan Tech.
Michigan Tech.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's smart and athletic.
Yep, smart, from Bucktown, and awesome person. He does a lot of work in California now for the unions and stuff like that.
Okay. So he's down. What was he doing in Atlanta?
He had an engineering job. He was working for, I think he had a defense contract, I believe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But he was making some.
So he said, come on down here. Got you a little job doing what?
Well, his friend at the time, she had applied to this insurance company.
Okay.
And told me about it, so I applied also, and I ended up
selling insurance.
No, it wasn't. It was Allstate Insurance Company, the Southeast Region headquarters.
Okay.
So I applied there, and I got hired in the mailroom department.
Doing mail.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorting out mail. So I was in a 13 or 15-story building on every floor picking up mail.
What was that like?
It was beautiful because I got to know everybody in the building just about, or everybody.
And you are a social dude. I mean, every time I go somewhere with you, you're like, oh, let me introduce you. And it's like ding, 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 ding.
I try.
So you've been like that your whole life?
I was more so then than now.
Really?
More so than
I was wondering where that came from.
So when I'm in an environment and it's people, if you're in an environment with people, it's about unity. The only way that we survive in this society or in this world together is unity and knowing each other. And if we get to know each other, then we know what we can barter or trade on, far as whether it be intellectual or whether it be physical. And so for me, I just always, I'm curious about what people do, what's going on, how people think, and so I can help build bridges.
All right, so you go from working on cars to UPS to a mailroom.
Yeah.
And what was experience in Atlanta like?
It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Because the other part of it is that I had a few bad relationships, so I was a person that had a I'm not gonna say scorn, but I was hurt. So I get to Atlanta and it was so many beautiful women down there.
So many beautiful women. It's the South, man. It's Atlanta. Come on.
My goodness, Atlanta was beautiful.
It's beautiful. That's my second favorite state in all the Union. The food is delicious. The weather's great. The people are nice. Yeah. Right?
Yes, sir.
I love that place. Yep. And I understand why they have sweet tea all the time, though. 'Cause it's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. So,
all right. So you're doing this, and how's that work out?
Goes well. I'm working at Allstate.
Yeah.
Doing the thing there. Like I say, got to know pretty much everybody in that building. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why I didn't stay there is because to scale and grow into a different position, they told me it was going to be like 6 or 7 years before I could move up. 6
or 7 years,
right? And I had a background in auto body, so I knew how the claims work went. I just needed training on certain things as far as documents, but it wasn't moving in that direction. So. It wasn't something I was going to stay with.
So how long did you do the mailroom?
That 2003, I think I left.
All right, so good 3 years.
Yeah.
All right, and then what was the next move?
Next move was Struggle Face.
Struggle Face.
Struggleface.com. I worked at Cumberland Mall and Perimeter Mall. I was working for Solaris. Which is, the cell phone accessory places. Okay. In all the malls. I was working there, and I was connected with the owners of that franchise. Okay. Through the guy that had hired me. Why can't I think of his name now?
It doesn't really matter. But how long did you do it?
That I think I did. How long did I do? Probably a good 2 years.
Good. Do you like that job, or is this something to do?
It was great because it was the mall. I got to
meeting people,
meet more people. Yeah, and that was the other thing about being in Atlanta for like 2 years of my time in there. I didn't hang around any Americans. If you were from the States, I didn't want to hang around you. And I worked at a Asian supermarket also.
Why is that?
Because it was so much culture. You remember Atlanta had the Olympics, like not too long before I had moved there, like within the 10-year period of that. So a lot of people had migrated to Atlanta and to Georgia, period.
So you're just meeting people from all over the world.
Just all types of cultures. I was only understood black and white until I left Flint. Yeah. And when I get to Atlanta, I literally had people speaking to me in different languages.
Well, what was your favorite, like your favorite one they met, was it?
Well, I hung around a lot of Nigerians, and I learned. I hung around a lot of Asians, and I learned Mandarin. I could speak about a paragraph. Work for Mandarin.
So, what was your favorite? Like, what was your favorite thing you learned out of all the different things around the world there?
Everything, because everybody was different.
You're just a people person.
Everybody was different.
You know what's crazy is people wouldn't know that you love people unless they sat and talked to you, because you're always watching. That's actually the thing I like about you, is you're always listening, right? I'm the same way. I'm a great listener. I love to listen. Like, you tell me what you are, I'll listen. Yeah. And you're the same way, and I love that about you. And I love that you just love people. And it doesn't really matter. And the stranger, the more you want to meet them.
Right. Yeah.
Because, how did you get that way? And why are you wearing those clothes? And where did that come from? And what kind of food do you eat? And why do you eat that food, right?
Yeah.
So you're just living that life for 2 years, and you're like your best life, basically.
Yeah. For the 6 years I was there, it was I was always trying to learn something different and new. Always. Because once I understood that there was something different.
All right. What is, I have to ask, because now I want to know, is what is the craziest thing you ate? Was there anything that you ate and you were like, oh, God, I wish I wouldn't eat?
Well, I haven't always, I'm not necessarily a Evil Knievel when it comes to food.
Not a foodie craze?
Not a foodie, just jump, no. But I would always try something from different people's culture. Yeah. But I would try the stuff that everybody was doing instead of
none of those chocolate crickets or anything?
I take that back. I was dating this young lady who was from Miami. She was half Haitian, half Jamaican. Okay. And her mom we went down to Miami. She went to see her mom, and she made me those long sea urchin things.
Yeah.
Conch, I think it's called.
Yeah. No.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
man.
gosh. What it tastes like?
It tastes like I should have never tried it.
Oh, hell.
Right.
Oh, no.
Like, how in the world did she get me to do that? Like,
She must have been very good looking.
Man. Never again.
Yeah. She wasn't that good looking. I'm just saying.
Not after that.
Oh, man. Fur tongue. Ugh. Yeah. One of the grossest things I've ever had was a chocolate covered cricket.
Okay.
And it was not good.
Well, I'd rather do that than than that thing.
I don't even want to know. Like, I was gonna ask what it tastes like, but now I don't want to know.
At least you had chocolate.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was like, oh gosh. Okay, moving on. Gross. But I had to ask because I knew there was something in there. All right. So you were doing this stuff, and so you get done with this, and what's the next step after the cell phones and the sea urchin?
Look, everybody's laughing now.
It's all good.
So yeah, Atlanta, man. So Atlanta was I had a lot of great experiences there. I was in the entertainment industry for a minute.
Yeah.
Through some people I knew. This one guy, he was from Mississippi, and he used to work with Def Jam, South, and Rap-A-Lot Records. He used to
Rap-A-Lot Records.
He used to break the album, so he would go down to the radio stations and things like that. And so we were neighbors at this place we lived in Marietta. And so we crossed paths, had conversations, and then he ended up getting linked up with Evander Holyfield's record label, Real Deal Entertainment. Okay. And so he asked me to show up there and things like that, and I met a nice amount of people and interesting things. And this was when Holyfield was living where Rick Ross bought, the house that Rick Ross bought. Yeah. And so I was there. I went to that location.
You said you did that for a minute?
That was a short time span. And then I managed a couple artists too. This one guy named Daytona, and I can't remember the young lady's name, but yeah, I put my finger in a lot of different places. I had a buddy. He ended up being a buddy that I met through the Mariel, the young girl that got me to eat the strange stuff. Yeah. One of her friends who I became cool with, he was into real estate, and he called me up one day. This is like one of the stories people wouldn't believe unless they knew how I moved and how things go for me. So he called me up, hey, Grundy, I need you to find me somebody that can verify funds for $60 million. Wow. I might have had $100 in my account, but I was always connecting with different people. Yeah. So he asked me that question, and I was like, okay, well, if he asked me, I must be able to do it. Right. Less than 3 days, I had people on the phone to be able to do that deal. Wow. Dude, this is a great taste to take a break, man. Wow, that was amazing. Sit tight. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and but it's showing me how to do the good parts. And I'm trying to apply that and make a better life for myself, because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us, and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with George Grundy II. And he was just, what?
Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
You're so smart for a CB, sir, sir. All right, so you were getting you set up so a guy that could clear $60 million. He did that in 3 days without knowing anyone.
Without knowing nothing, didn't know how I was going to do it. I felt like if he believed that it could be done, and
then it must be capable.
Then I don't believe in no.
Well, and besides, when you're like, I have $60 million in here, it's like, oh, sir, yes, sir.
Hey, I got the people on the phone.
Yeah, it's weird how that works, right? Yeah. It's amazing what happens. All right, so you do that, and you said you were only in that for a little while. How long's a little while? 6 months, a year, 3 months?
Well, I never made any money out of any of that because even though I got the people on on my end, he couldn't get the contractor back onto the table. So it was for a high-rise condominium in Miami.
Okay.
And
just couldn't get it to work.
I didn't understand what I need to do as far as doing paperwork and securing things. So if I would have knew what I know now, I would have had him put at least 10 or 20 grand on top of on me just even going out to link him up with somebody.
Right.
So,
but you can't know what you don't know until you know it, right?
But I know it now.
All right. So you go through that. What happens next?
A lot of hard times. I come up hard, baby. Yep. So it was. Look, I went from Atlanta to We Shall Overcome. Like, Day-o.
So were you like staying by yourself?
Man, I ended up
floating,
homeless in my car.
Homeless.
All kind. Man, it was something. I went from on top of the world to under the doggone bridge almost. And
what do you think the reason for that was?
Because the reason for that was that I wasn't structured financially. I was a chance taker, and I would always bet on myself, but that doesn't always work. Right. So even though I wasn't doing different things to account for like oh yeah, I was getting drunk every day, or cocaine is a heck of a drug. None of that. Yeah. It was just I financially
you were taking risks that you couldn't afford to take.
Right.
Trying to bet on yourself to get out of where you're at.
Because the adrenaline to me was the next deal, the next business deal. Who the next person to meet? I went from real estate to entertainment to this, that, and the third.
Because it sounds to me like I'm hearing the story just from someone listening to it, and it's like you're trying to find your thing.
Right.
So that didn't work. So what was the next move?
So, like I say, I was living in my truck. Yeah. Which was a truck that this lady and her husband gave me when I was working at Allstate Insurance Company. Yeah. It was a 86 F-150 mint condition.
All right. So you're in your truck. So what's the next move?
I told my cousin that what I was dealing with. Yeah. And he snitched on me. And told my dad.
Oh. And you're how old?
We were probably like 23-ish.
23-ish.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
So, yeah, he told on me, like, got all emotional. I told, because I was like, man, I'm just figuring it out, work it out. And, and he I felt like he freaked out, but that's one of my best friends.
All right, so
and I ended up staying with one of my father's friends who lived down there, who was an engineer.
Okay,
and stayed with him for a minute, and what happened? It's so much stuff in between.
All right, let me just make this easier. Yeah, when did you go into the military?
Okay, that was 2 years later.
So 2 years later.
2008.
So that made you 25.
I went in at 29. So, look,
29.
So see my timeline? I don't
It's
even remember
okay.
stuff.
That's why I'm here. Don't worry about it.
29, I joined the
All
military.
right. So you
2008.
all right. So 2008, you joined the military, and first of all, you go into which branch?
Marine Corps, the only branch that counts.
Moving on, and
See, look.
listen.
Didn't you guys hire us to take care of you?
Listen?
Exactly.
We always tell you guys thanks for coming in first after we've made everything for you there.
Well,
you
you're
know?
supposed to if we're going to do
Yeah.
all the work.
After we cleared it out and got it all safe for you to come in so you can keep it safe.
If we go,
Very tough of you,
if
Marines.
we go get the meat, you got to cook it.
Listen, yeah, but we still have to build the place for you to come there to get the meat. So there's nothing wrong with second. I have nothing issue, no
we
issues.
Cut down the wood for you to build it.
You just didn't.
We did.
This is a CB Marine thing, and we're right, and it's okay. Moving on.
I need another crayon.
You do, so you can get hit by another bullet. Genius. All right, so
I'm
you
Neo.
Neo. Very good. All right, so you go to the Marines. It's 2008, and
At 29.
yeah, and so you're like the old guy.
I had to sign every waiver in the world.
Oh yeah, because you had and especially being a grunt, man. Like,
Well, I wasn't a grunt.
well, I mean, what was your MOS again?
0431.
Which is
It's a logistics embarkation.
okay.
So I got like a 95 or 98 on my ASVAB.
Wow, that's really high. That's really high, actually. Is that back? What was the high score then? Was it 100, 120? Because they changed it.
I don't remember. I know it was 100 something.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So because pre-90s it was 100, and I think post-90s I think it was 125. I think, but 90 something super high. Yeah. All right.
well, I got high enough to be able to pick whatever, but
to not do infantry.
Right. and that wasn't something that I was opposed to, because I actually let my recruiter pick my job.
Yeah, I did the same thing. That was not the smartest thing I ever did. Anyways, so you go in and being the old guy, right?
Yeah.
The amount of crap that you took, I gotta imagine, was
All
not
of
good.
It was all of it.
It was all of it.
It was all of it. I wish one day I could get with all the guys that are still around from my boot camp experience, and we sit around and tell stories that we remember.
Yeah.
So one thing that I don't believe I'll ever forget is that one time we were getting, you know how the drill instructors they grind you.
Oh yeah.
Verbally, and so he had our
Allegedly,
you know, just speaking loudly, just a little high pitch, and so he had our flag. He had our flag.
Yeah.
And so
You guys don't deserve this. You want my Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor. You don't deserve this. You don't even.
That's good. I love it.
and so he's dragging the flag all over the ground and everything, and
Say you don't even respect this enough.
And so I'm just standing here getting upset, like,
Right.
Because I'm like, you telling me that I'm weak? You telling me I don't deserve it?
Right.
I didn't come. I'm 29 years. I ain't come here to lose.
Right.
So he's still talking. So I ran up on him, snatched the flag, and ran to the door. And I was like a deer. Like, why did I just do that?
Yeah.
I'm about to die. I'm
Yeah.
never going to make it out of Paris Island. Like, what's going on? And so standing there about 20 seconds seemed like, and he's just silent, looking around the room.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what
I'm like, oh, man, I'm glad that
Phew.
right.
Yeah. You didn't have
dignity and pride of something.
Yeah, no, I have a couple of those. I have to tell you off air because they're not PG rated. But my DI was, that dude was not okay, bro.
I got.
No, that's off air conversation. Moving on. I hear you though. All right. So then what happened is, yeah, no, but
Heavily redacted.
right, heavily, but very funny on the other side of it. All right, so we'll do that off air. Anyways, so you get done and you go where from Paris Island?
From the island, I went to Camp Lejeune.
Training,
and then from there they shipped me off to Japan, Okinawa.
All right. So you love new places and people. How was Japan?
Well, I asked them to deploy me. I asked to be sent to Afghanistan, but they sent me to Japan.
Okay.
And I was there for 2 years. So they give you like 3 choices, and I think
your most favorite places or something.
Right.
I think they use that as a list of places not to put you or something.
Right. Well, so I guess I did it. So they gave me Japan, and it was cool. I enjoyed Japan tremendously.
What did you like about it the most? Culture, food, people.
The people in the Marine Corps that I befriended, because I still have brothers that I talk to this day that are like master sergeants and stuff that are in.
So the brotherhood.
Yeah, the brotherhood.
Like the brotherhood out there, because you are definitely outnumbered and in a strange place. But
the culture was awesome. Culture was awesome.
Dude,
going to the
great.
Pineapple Warehouse and all that stuff.
All right, hold on. We still got to go to break.
Okay.
Sit tight. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm here with Chad. He's here with our drug dog, Hans, and he's been a big hit at the Depson Dogs. Tell everybody a little bit about Hans for us.
Hans is the man. Hans loves to find drugs. We take Hans and we search different rehab facilities, schools. We actually got Hans to serve the public. So, anybody in the public sector that wants any type of search, if you send a kid to rehab and you want your house swept before you come home, feel free to give us a call. Schools, they're a great deterrent as well.
I'm here with the regional chaplain down Genesee County. Kenny is here. They do great work inside the jail. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you guys have inside the jail?
Yeah, we have an opportunity that the sheriff allows us to come into the jail as guests to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with each one of the inmates that want to hear that. We have programs within inside the jail that we have Bible studies, we have people that come in and do one-on-ones as the inmates request it, but all of that's an opportunity to give them a choice at a different life than with the choices that they've been made to get here.
Outstanding, and they're one of our partners in the community to help people who are one of the people that help win, help us, help you, help those people around. I'm here with AJ. He's one of the committee members from Back to the Bricks. How do you think it's going today, bud?
Good. Yeah, I mean, everybody's here. Everybody seems happy, and we're doing it up in Flint just right.
Yeah, it's been a really good time. We're right by the jail, hanging out with some very cool cars. And right to our left is their son was a deputy who had passed away. And so what they do is they have his car come out and they show it off at the different shows. We're sitting down here with UCAN and Reach the Forgotten, Spiritual Warfare Unit, and Depson Dogs, and Back to the Bricks, of course, with the cars, because you guys are the cool kids.
We try.
You do it good. All right, we'll be around. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with George Grundy II, and he is here with Veterans of Now. He was just getting into Japan, some of the guys that you met. And so where'd you go after Japan?
Came back to Lejeune, then they shipped me off to Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, okay.
Yes, sir.
And then which camp?
I was Devil Dog.
Devil Dog camp, okay. And you were there how long? 9 months, 6 months?
About a year. I think 10 or 11 months. I think.
All right. Yeah. So during that year, high stress, high drama, as bad as you can think. Because what year was this?
This is 2011.
All right. So that's just right in the thick of it, right?
We had some situations and issues.
All right. So just because we got to get to the rest of this story, we're going to have you back. Is that cool? Hey. All right, so this will be a part one. All right, so okay. We'll break into that one on the next time. So year comes, you gotta transition back, and that transition is super tough, right?
This is when the real world comes in. That's the
right.
Yeah.
So you're trying to decompress from being downrange. So tell people what that was like. So like coming back.
The short of a long is that I got out of the Marine Corps, not because I wanted to, but because things happen.
Yeah.
And that I did not create or cause, and it created a situation where I just had to get out. So in that, it was a very dark space for me because of the reasoning. And the transition from, because you know, I had
mental transition,
mental transition, and everything, and you would think that because I was older and I had lived life that it would be something I could just go back to life and
yeah,
figure
it doesn't work
out.
that way though.
But it didn't, because I was upside down mentally on the reasoning why I had to get out,
Right.
which I could have stayed in, but it just.
It's all good. We're going to get to that on the next one. What I want to get to is this.
So
you really had a struggle on the transition, and how did that affect you to getting Veterans of Now?
So transitioning, I explain it like this. Imagine being a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
You're doing 200 miles per hour, 200 laps, and you're great at your job. You get the champagne shower, the accolades, and all that other stuff. And then after that, I give you the keys to a Prius, tell you have to do 35 miles per hour in gridlock traffic with the music you hate the most.
Right.
That's
transitioning.
my example of transitioning.
Right.
Because you're trying to figure out how to fit into this system that everybody's used to and they're good with, but you know that you can do everything a little bit better, a little bit faster,
Right.
and get a lot more done. But nobody wants to move like that.
Right. So what'd you do?
So I end up homeless again. I end up trying to get the services that were available to assist me with a hand up, not a hand out. But what I was experiencing is that because I wasn't addicted to anything or had any issues of that nature, that there weren't very many services to assist me. I had to be a drug addict or an alcoholic or have something to be chronically homeless. And
So
since
you
I
had to have something else wrong with you other than the fact that you having a hard time transitioning.
Right.
So you actually had to be worse than you were.
Yes.
Okay. So you're doing this, and how did you end up finding help? Like, how did that happen?
Well, Miss Kiat Shabazz with Harry, who she started an organization down there because her brother, who was a Marine Corps veteran, she started that organization. I crossed paths with her, and I believe I did it because I ended up in school for a moment. So I went to Forsyth Tech because I moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where my sister was, and she was 9 months pregnant when I got back. So even though we love each other, I'm fresh out the Marine Corps and she's about
9
to birth,
months pregnant.
about to burst. So
Yeah.
it was just too much clashing. So it wasn't that we didn't like each other. It was just like I needed to figure me out, and she was trying to figure out this new life with her and her husband and my nephew. And she had my beautiful niece Chloe. But I ended up living on my vehicle again, and the programs that were available didn't fit. Miss Kiat Shabazz, I met her and through some Purple Heart veterans who had assisted me and helped me. So my thing was I always try to connect with things I would like to be familiar with or things that I'm familiar with. And so now that I'm a veteran, I need to get connected with veterans.
Right.
And my first interactions weren't the ones I wanted because I was in need. But these men and women, they cared.
Right. So if I'm hearing what you're telling me is Veterans of Now is created because you struggled with the transition home and you wanted to help people with that.
Yeah, I stumbled through a lot of different holes that were in the cracks of the system. And I would have to give credit to Miss Shabazz and Harry for putting that bug, or not bug, but giving me that understanding that you can fight back and you can do something to help others that is outside the fray of everything else that may not work.
All right. So what does Veterans of Now do for veterans?
Well, I put it like this: we're like the weather strip in the window. We're not the window. We're not the frame. We just the weather strip. We keep the draft out. So the things like the veterans that organizations can't deal with, or maybe out of their capacity because they may have extreme issues, or they may have gotten themselves kicked out of places. I like to concentrate on those folks that have been at the edge of hope.
The throwaways.
Right, the throwaways. So, and find the solutions for them. But it's pretty much holding the veteran's hand wherever they need it for the transition, because transition is everything. It can be financial transition. It can be home housing transition. It can be mental health transition. It can be just doing paperwork transition. So linking them up with the organization services and whatever they need. Like, I had a veteran call me 3 days ago. The story they told me is that they had a water damage in their place, and all their appliances went out.
Wow.
From their everything.
Okay.
So I reached out to our mutual friend, and she said she had some stuff for him. So now I would have went yesterday, but my truck didn't start. So things like that, just making sure that whatever it is, just finding the resources, whether it be the VA and what the VA can't help with, finding. And if we can't find it, we create it.
Right.
Period. It's, now the emphasis is on now. When we put the uniform on, when do we need to do our job?
Right now.
So when we need help, when do we need it?
Same.
So that, for me, that's it. I don't the red tape stuff. I lived through the red tape. If I had been someone that had failed to all of the darkness that was falling on my shoulders at the time,
right, I
would have been one of the 22, because it was just that depressing, just that heavy. My mental health was just that, in that despair. So red tape, I got scissors for that.
Right. So how long was it from the time that you met with those people, Harry and what's her name, to starting Veterans of Now? Like, how long was that process?
So I was in North Carolina from 2000. I moved back to Winston-Salem. I got out in 2012. So say 2012, and I moved to Flint 2014. So, and
2 years.
So yes, in 2014, and then January, the water crisis happened in April, and so Vine was created the next year. Another part of it is that because when I got out, I went to a headhunter. Someone, like the person that I went to, he currently works for Nike. He's like one of their head people in a certain department. And I went to him, and I paid him a few $100s to do my resume and to prep me for jobs.
Okay.
Nothing came out of it. Not because his work was not right, but I think partially because of the situation that happened with me. It ended up on the news, on Fox News, all over the state of North Carolina, and it just kind of ruined my life.
Yeah.
And I, reflecting, I look back, because I was scheduled. I had set to go back to Afghanistan with Honeywell, and life just kept on spiraling out. It was like all kinds of stuff, and I couldn't find employment or anything like that, and my health was getting worse, and I didn't realize what was going on with my health, and all kinds of things were going on. My mental health started declining, but I was still trying to fight, trying to do something. And none of the things, I did dozens of interviews, hundreds of applications, and nothing. And so after that's why I moved back to Flint, because I'm like, man, what
were they doing, a background check, and that kept popping up, or what?
It was nothing to pop up. It was just the situation. The short version of it is that I got profiled, and what do you call it when swatted? I was swatted and profiled. So they shut down the expressway just to pull me over because somebody made a bogus phone call.
Yeah. And then because it's there, you're automatically guilty.
Automatic, because my face is on the whole thing.
Dang, man.
So,
that's just craziness. That's just craziness. All right, so you get done that. You start the veteran. So the water crisis comes, and your idea is what?
So I get back, and I get linked up because I wanted to get a house, and so I linked up with an organization here and the house was a work-live home.
Right.
And because it was that, I said, well, I can stage water at this location.
Mm-hmm.
So before I was even in the location, I called the food bank and told them that I wanted to get whatever they had available so I could start assisting and helping my community.
And you did that through the nonprofit.
And that was before the nonprofit.
Okay.
I did that just because they had just finished paving the parking lot at the house.
Yeah. And you're giving out how much water a week?
So at the height, we were doing over 20 pallets a week.
20 skids of water a week.
More than that, probably almost double that if you look at it. Because we were doing
on the north end?
Right across from the White Horse Tavern. It was,
right downtown.
Next door to the bookstore.
Okay.
So did that.
Wow.
So we were delivering to 1st and 5th Ward, and we had a drive up to where people could pick up water. So,
man, that's great. Because that was tough, man. That was really tough. That whole water scenario was some.
Employed over 100 people from that location. Had 3 shifts.
No kidding.
Yeah, I believe Vine was the only non-religious or nonprofit that was moving that much water at the time.
So this is what I just like about you. So, like, you struggled with the mental transition, but your people skills are still on point. Your ability to handle business management and process people is still on point. You take all of those talents and you move it to veterans of now and to assist them. And basically, I looked at the spreadsheet, there's a spreadsheet of groups of veterans just in this area. It's over 100, right? And some of our mutual friends who do not want to be named, who should be, but we're not gonna, because the amazing work that we're doing when we get together is a conglomerate of people that help veterans, of which you're on that list, of getting all kinds of services I wouldn't even think of, right? And here's the thing, is like, as a veteran myself who's gone through being disabled and having to do that kind of stuff, like, your ego gets in the way sometimes. I'll just figure it out. But it doesn't work that way. And there's a bunch of people who want to help, and you guys do that stuff. So if you got like 60 seconds, if you had someone in front of you that needed help but was struggling, what would you tell them so they would get the help?
So 60 seconds. I haven't been asleep since I talked to you yesterday. Mental health and all those things are real. I struggle with it every day. So what I would tell someone is that you have to live in it and through it. Don't let it hold you down, and don't let it put you in a space to where you don't believe that you can accomplish something just because you deal with those things. It's many nights that I struggle, but what keeps me going is knowing that I'm going to wake up or get up or rise up and help somebody, regardless of what that is. And that's what I would tell people, to help someone. If you can't help yourself and figure it out, help somebody else, and it'll help you figure you out.
And I tell you what, when I don't feel good, helping somebody else does make me feel good. George, buddy, we are out of time.
Hey.
Thank you so much for coming in. George Grundy II, Veterans of Now. Check out his stuff. Like and subscribe at our show. If this is your first time, thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you next time here at UCAN Studios.
Like and subscribe.
Be safe. We'll see you soon. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way, but my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name. You break every chain, oh Lord, 'cause you are above every name, Jesus. Oh, you set me free. words apart.